We are live. Merry Christmas, Adam. I'm glad to be here. I'm Andy Andrews. You've joined us on the Christmas Blue Plate. Shanda Danner, how you doing? Beautiful day there in Dothan. Tell my buddy Bob Woodall, hey, if you see him. Tammy Nance, how you doing? Authoress Tammy Nance. Dana Kilpatrick, how you doing? You shared? Good. I appreciate you sharing. We got a great show today. I'm just telling you, we got a great show. This is going to be fun, enlightening, especially enlightening, because I was enlightened when and who's that? Is that Dana that's telling me? Yeah, telling me, Happy Christmas, Adam. Thank you. I appreciate that. Amy Lynn, you have joined. Merry Christmas, Adam, to you. If you're not familiar with the term, it's December 23rd. And we have a 23-year-old kid. He's not a kid. He's a young man. 23-year-old named Adam. And about 18 years ago, Adam was 5. And on this day, 18 years ago, he looked up at me and he said, Dad, if tomorrow is Christmas Eve, is today Christmas, Adam? And I said, yes, it absolutely is. So we have been saying Merry Christmas, Adam, to people on December 23rd ever since. Kayla Lamar, hey, how you doing? Betty Ayers, how are you? From Troy. All my Troy buddies. I've got a bunch of buddies in Troy. Wanda Parsons from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Shanda says Bob's cooking turkeys today for the community. Yeah, Bob, Bob Woodall in Dothan, Alabama, cooks turkeys every year. Shanda, do you have any idea how many he's cooking this year? I mean, it's just unbelievable. Angela Farias, Chancellor from Kingwood, Texas. Merry Christmas from Tim Pierce. Hey, I already told you we got a good show. I'm just telling you. Ruth Cordell, how are you doing? Merry Christmas, Adam, to you. Let's see, what was I going to tell you? Dave Huco, Merry Christmas from Minnesota, the Great White North. Buddy, it looks like our Christmas Eve service. We do, the Floribama has a Christmas Eve service every year, our church at the Floribama. This year we're doing it at Coastal. Okay, so that's right at the intersection of the Beach Highway and 161. It's just more room to spread out. And we've got a band going to be there. I'm going to be telling a story. Merry Christmas from Bill Cody. Oh my God, we got a legend watching us today. Bill Cody, WSM Radio, voice of the Grand Ole Opry. Bill, remind me to send Bill something after this show. Okay, all right. Kim Killen, how you doing? Russ Cassis. Bill Cody, stay on. You may want to use some of this material today. I've got some amazing stuff. Cindy Hughes, how you doing? Merry Christmas, Adam from Kentucky. Sherry Hargrove, Merry Christmas, Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Have you ever run into any guys in Muscle Shoals called Iron Horse? They are a group, and they're session players in Muscle Shoals, but they have created this group called Iron Horse, and they take regular songs and make bluegrass songs out of it. And if you want to see something fantastic, go on YouTube and put in Iron Horse Rocket Man. They do that Elton John song Rocket Man, do it bluegrass. I'm telling you, it's better than the original. Rex Kelter, Springfield, Missouri, home of the largest, not just the first Bass Pro Shop, but the largest museum in Springfield. If you ever get to Springfield, Missouri, you have to go to the Wonderful World of Wildlife and make sure you have a whole day to see it. Shanda Danner says Bob is cooking over 100 turkeys today. Only Bob Woodall. Call Bob. Nancy Shorter Tyler, Merry Christmas in Maryland. Matt Wilson, how you doing, buddy? Matt has just amazing kids. And there goes a girl that looks like Daigle. I know it's not Daigle, though, because she would be waving at me if it was. Debbie, 1960, hello from Lafayette, Indiana. Bander, 1948, Merry Christmas. Hey, I know what I was gonna tell you. I saw before I got on, Beaver Applin. His real name is Arch, but as he told me, he said, if you ever hear anybody call me Arch, you know they don't know me very well. But Beaver Applin, the guy who started and owns Buc-ee's, um, I saw, and I hadn't told you this yet, but he sent out a thing to his employees and friends, a story, the ducking the game wardens.
Oh, great.
Sent that out to everybody. So that was very cool. And by the way, if it's too late to order anything, all the Buc-ee's travel centers in America have the traveler's gift and the noticer, and they are signed. So they have signed traveler's gifts and noticers. So if you got some last minute Christmas gifts you want to get, and you're within striking distance of a Buc-ee's, go in, get you a brisket sandwich, get your autographed books, have fun just looking around. Merry Christmas from Amelia Island, 69 degrees. Jerry Anderson, how are you doing? Jerry Anderson is the star of the story Ducking the Game Warden. How about that? John Mason Smith, how are you doing? Joyce Aprea, is that right? Marcy Taylor, how are you doing? Okay, I'm going to say hey to more of you guys in a little bit. We're going to get started on the show. First of all, do you ever think, this is just an odd thought I had, and I know you're surprised that I have odd thoughts, but Sony, I wondered the other day if Jesus ever gets sad on Christmas Day. I wonder if he gets sad because, on Christmas Day, all the angels are saying, "Hey, Jesus, here's your present. It's kind of your birthday Christmas present." I wonder if Jesus is aggravated that he was born on Christmas Day because his birthday and Christmas kind of the same thing. I wonder if that makes him sad. I just wonder. Okay, so today we're going to talk about Christmas traditions that you haven't heard of, that you might want to adopt, okay? Because I have, for the past month or so, when I've been not listening to an entire Christmas song, but going back and forth between 3 or 4 different Christmas channels on Sirius. I mean, when I had one, Maury, how are you doing, Pastor Maury? That is a unique thought. You can use that in your sermon. When I had the Holiday Channel on Sirius, I was so happy. I was hearing, drunk Dean Martin sing Marshmallow World. I was hearing, Elvis sing Blue Christmas. And I was really happy. And then I saw, there's a country Christmas channel. So I saved that, got that on my little dial there. And then when I was getting to that, I saw, there's Smokey Robinson's 50s and 60s Motown Christmas channel. And so I got that. Now, I'm not happy with anything. I don't listen to a whole song. I just go, there's the greatest Christmas song of all time, but I wonder what's on the other one. And I keep going back and forth. Not working for me. So, but here is the thought today. So as long as I've been listening to Christmas music, I've been asking people that I would run into, I'd say, what is a Christmas tradition that your family has that, that you guys stick to, but maybe we hadn't heard of it? And that it worked. And I must tell you, I've heard about 150 of them, but I've narrowed them down to 14. Okay? Some of them were too ridiculous. Some of them, I didn't want to tell you about the one that people were doing something naked. No, I'm just kidding. I just made that up. But I narrowed 150 Christmas traditions that I heard of. And some of them kind of were like each other. And some of them I didn't, like some people would say, we give each other presents. And I'm like, that's not really what I was looking for. I want something a little different than that. But so here we are. And I've saved my favorite 3 or 4 for the very last. But all of these are good. I'm telling you, these are great Christmas traditions. And so listen carefully, take notes if you want to. You can watch this again if you want to. This will be archived on Wisdom Harbor, won't it? Okay. And so, Sandy Atkins, how are you doing? Merry Christmas from south of the border. I mean, you're way south of the border in El Salvador. Okay, so here's the first one. And I tried to do it in the person's words. This lady said, my dad's oldest sister started a tradition for their side of the family when she started having kids. Each child in the family was assigned a Christmas theme, such as snowmen or mittens or snowflakes or, something like that. And so the aunt would buy an ornament for each kid based on their theme. And they would get one from her every year. She said, my theme is stockings, so I currently have 25 stocking ornaments and counting. And she said her aunt passed away a few years ago, but her daughter, your cousin, has continued the tradition. My cousin's kids have also been included in the tradition. I told one of my best friends about the tradition. She loved it so much that now I send her an ornament every year, and her theme is Christmas tree. So isn't that cool? Polly every year gives our boys a special gift, just kind of based on them. And so that has been a tradition in our house. Every year they get another, Adam, granted, has a lot of fish things, and Austin has a lot of guitar things and hunting things. And all right, so here we go. Number 2, we leave Grinch doodles. And when I asked what a Grinch doodle was, she said, snickerdoodles with green food coloring and green sprinkles. I'm like, okay. So she said, we leave Grinch doodles out for the Grinch on Christmas Eve, along with our cookies for Santa. This way the Grinch feels love too and won't steal our tree. And they also cover the door to the living room with wrapping paper. Then in the morning, the kids run through the paper together to begin Christmas. I think both those are cool. All right, number 3. One Christmas Eve morning, we baked cookies for Santa and then went to my grandmother's to celebrate the holiday with our family. We returned home quite late, having gone to midnight mass, to find that our Labrador retriever had eaten all of Santa's cookies. My sister and I were distraught. There were no cookies left in the house to give to Santa. My mom convinced us he would be okay with the leftover pizza we had in the fridge. In fact, she said he'd probably prefer to have pizza after eating all those cookies. So for the last 25 years now, we have kept this tradition going by ordering a pizza on the 23rd and saving 2 slices for Santa. My nieces are 6 and 3 and are equally convinced Santa looks forward to cold pizza at their house because he got a bellyache from all the sweets. That is awesome. What a great mom. What a great mom to take a tragedy like the lab eating all Santa's cookies, to take a tragedy and turn it into a tradition that has lasted almost 3 decades. Good for you, Mom. Number 4, Dad used to bring presents to each of us on Christmas morning around the tree, one at a time. Everyone watches each person open the gift, then the next person can start. Since we're a big family, it takes all day. I thought that's how everybody did presents. I was actually surprised at my in-laws when everybody would open all their presents all at the same time. Okay, let me just tell you, that second way, the in-laws family way, that is wrong. That is incorrect. Okay, I'm just telling you. I mean, we open our presents one at a time, and I play Santa Claus until I'm so exhausted. I'm like, somebody else play Santa. And we'll all be sitting around the tree, and Santa Claus will say, well, how about this one for Adam? And Polly or Austin will look at it and go, what? No, not that one, not yet. Not yet. Oh, okay. All right. So that's how we do it. And we'll open some, and then we'll have breakfast, and then we'll come open the rest. When I was a kid, though, Christy and I would, more presents just meant a greater Christmas to us as kids. And so we didn't have, our parents didn't have much money, and Christy and I didn't have any money. And so if you got socks from us, that's 2 presents. You get to open 2 presents. You open shoes, that's 4 presents. Shoe, laces. Okay? And so we would be there, we'd be to the afternoon, and our parents would be, our mom and dad would be like, what's this? Oh, it's a rock. Where'd you get the rock? From the driveway. Hey, we wrapped it, right? All right, number 5. When we were kids, my family had a tradition to shout up the chimney on Christmas Eve before going to bed to tell Santa what we wanted. We had many discussions before Christmas Eve to decide what we wanted, and my parents would always say it was not fair for Santa for us not to have decided well in advance of all the shouting. So no changing your mind at the last minute. And this guy said, I was close to 30 when I realized nobody else did this. Number 6. I like this one too. Number 6. You have to sit on the steps until you are married. Apparently, now we have done this too. Now, I think the steps in this are the metaphor for another room. You have to stay in another room. Every non-married person waits on the steps until all the adults are in the family room with all the presents and the Santa Claus stuff before the unmarried people can come into the room and see what Santa had brought. She says, my cousin was 33 years old, unmarried, and still chilling on the steps with all the younger cousins. She was such a great sport, but it's tradition. My boys are the 4th generation of kids who have done this. That is awesome. We didn't keep it up when the boys were 26 and 23, but when the kids were younger, they could not come into the living room until we were ready. And we would wake them up. We'd say, Santa has been here. And so they'd get up, and they're excited, but they're still trying not to fall asleep. And we put them in the bedroom. We said, now you have to stay here until we call you. And so we'd get everything ready, get the cameras ready, and go, okay, come on in. Then we'd have it. So that's what we did. Number 7. I thought this was pretty funny. And I granted, I think it's funnier because of the name that they gave this tradition. We have a tradition called Wrap the Crap. It's a white elephant, Yankee swap. You have to wrap up something you don't like or something somebody gave you at another time. And then we do the game with those things. There's always somebody else's crap that ends up being the coveted gift, like a Starbucks gift card with $2.83 left on it. I like that. That would be good for a party or something.
I just saw this morning, I guess apparently you can buy bags of lost mail or stuff that's just been in the post office, can't deliver.
Right.
And someone showed a video that they play white elephant with a bag of lost mail, so no one really knows what's been.
Oh my God. Good news or bad news? Okay. Okay, before we go to number 8. No, let's do number 8 and then I'll go back to this one, Matt. Number 8. We have a smiley face cookie jar that says, have a happy day. We call it the Happy Day Jar. All year, my husband, my daughters, and I write down good things that happen to us on a particular day, and then sometime between Christmas and New Year's Day, we take turns pulling from the jar and reading them out loud. I think that's a good one. That's a good one. That would also be a good one to assign to Thanksgiving. Dr. Barb, how are you doing? Dr. Barb Rimbiesa. Man, I miss you and Lieutenant Dan. Her husband, his name Dave. Is Dave watching? I don't know, but I can tell this because Dave doesn't care. When I met Dave, for some reason, I started calling Dave, Dr. Barb's husband. For some reason, I started calling him Lieutenant Dan. About 3 or 4 years after I called him Lieutenant Dan, he was in a motorcycle accident and lost his leg. And so then, when I would call him Lieutenant Dan, everybody around would be going like, don't, you know? And I'm like, no, this is like his name. This is, so, but Lieutenant Dan, Dr. Barb, some of my favorite people. Darlene McIntyre, after a prayer of thanks, your family opens your gifts one at a time, eating cinnamon buns and coffee. I got to see what they got and see their reaction. We start from youngest to oldest. That is awesome. That is awesome. And it's also awesome that you do it on Christmas Day, because Christmas morning is when you open gifts. Agree? Christmas morning, Christmas morning, Christmas morning, Christmas morning. No? No? See, your wife's looking at you like, I told you. Your wife's looking at you like, my family used to open it up correctly. And then she married you and has to do it wrong all these years. Oh, my God. Christmas morning, right? Christmas morning. Sony, Christmas morning. Matt, Christmas morning. Okay, yeah. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, it's Christmas morning. It's Christmas morning. And by opening your presents on Christmas Eve, you're breaking one of the Christmas commandments, I guess. All right, let me tell you a Christmas tradition. Let me tell you about a Christmas tradition that I have for my family that they don't really know about. How about that? Every year, now Kevin Perkins has been my best friend since God was a boy. All right, and so his wife Glenda. So to the boys, that's Uncle Kevin and Aunt Glenda, and as long as they've been married, Glenda has been cooking homemade ginger snaps for Christmas. I mean, these are something else. And, you know, some years she would send them and some years she wouldn't. Until my family found out that on the years that they thought she didn't send them, I had them in my closet. And so sometimes I would take them out after Christmas and say, man, have y'all really, I've enjoyed Glenda's cookies this year. And they go, what? Where have they been? I don't know. They've been right here, I guess. Have you not seen them? No, we haven't seen them. Yeah, I've been eating them for a week. And so anyway, somewhere a couple or 3 years ago, they figured this out. So since I know that Polly and Austin and Adam are not listening to this show and they're not watching the show, I will tell you what happened this year. And Kevin is probably on here watching, so you can tell Glenda this. No, don't tell Glenda this, because Glenda has turned out to be kind of a crook. You know, she's like texting Polly, I'm sending the cookies. So Glenda is like on Polly and the boy side. So Kevin, don't tell her this. So this year, I come in downstairs and I see a box. And so, you know, we get our boxes are on this table downstairs, and I'd look as I come in and see who are they to and who's it from before I open them. And so I saw, this was like a week ago, I saw this box, and it was on our downstairs table, and it was from Glenda Perkins. So I knew what that was. Now they're on the downstairs table. They're not outside. They're not in the mailbox. They're on the downstairs table. So somebody has taken them in, and it wasn't me. And I was hoping maybe one of the boys had stopped by the house and taken them in, didn't know what they were, and left them, and then I'm getting these things before Polly sees them. But I take them, and I put them kind of down by my side, and I walk upstairs, and I walk by the kitchen, and Polly's doing something else. And Polly, as I'm turning to go to the bedroom, Polly says, "I see you with Glenda's cookies. Put them in here on the counter." So I just kind of, okay. And she's like, ha, 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 ha. Glenda told me she was sending them, so I was looking for them. Yeah, okay. So the next morning, I wake up early. The cookies have not been opened yet. Okay, but they're in a box, they're in a Tupperware thing inside, but then a box outside and some paper wrapping around it. And so I look at the box, and it's got that clear packing tape on it, So I get a sharp knife, and I slice open the packing tape, and I open up the box, and I see the little Tupperware thing of cookies, about that deep, about that big. And I pull it out, I get me a Ziploc bag, and I get about half the cookies. Put them in the Ziploc bag to go to my closet. And then I close the little Tupperware thing up, close the box back up, get some packing tape. You cannot tell. You can't tell they've been in there. All right, so then I come home from work that afternoon. Polly's in the kitchen. There's a couple more packages, and there's a couple of Christmas card things. And so I go to the packages and say, "Hey, can I go ahead and open Glenda's cookies?" And she says, "Sure." So I take them right over where she is, so she sees me opening the cookies. So I open them up. I take the Tupperware thing out. And Glenda, this is what you get for calling Polly and telling her you sent them. So I open up the Tupperware thing. I go, Polly says, "What?" I said, "We didn't get many cookies this year." Polly looks over. It's like, this is like a couple of layers on the bottom. Polly looks over. She says, "Well, they're Glenda's cookies. We're just happy to get them." I said, "Yeah, but, it's not many of them." She said, "Well, Andy, that's not the point." I said, "Well, maybe she cooked a certain amount and had a number of people to give them to and had to divide them up." And Polly said, "Whatever. And mine are still in my closet." Okay, all right. Nobody tell her. Nobody tell either one of them. Number 9. 9 out of 14. Once we were too old for Santa, we started receiving gifts from famous people. I've gotten a lava lamp from Ronald Reagan, a fancy pen from Steve Martin, movies from the actors that were in the movies, and I've given gifts from famous people too. It makes guessing what the gift could possibly be very fun. I think that's a good idea. So, anyway, number 10. I like this too. We had a tradition of putting our stockings out on New Year's Eve for Mrs. Claus. All right, now this is after you do it Christmas Eve for Santa. And so Mama said we're going to leave them out on New Year's Eve for Mrs. Claus. And Mom would leave small things like his candy, gum, or a $10 gift card. And she said, I guess my mom wanted Mrs. Claus to have a little fun too. But that stretches it out. I think that's awesome. Number 11, I love this one. I don't know why I love this one so much, but I do. Number 11, my grandpa started the tradition of the New Year's moose when my mom was very little in the 1950s, and it has stuck in my household. Essentially, whatever Santa forgot to bring you that just broke your little heart not to get, the New Year's moose delivered on New Year's Day. I have no idea what started this, but I love it. My husband and I use it to give each other fun, random little things. The New Year's moose. This lady actually showed me a picture of a moose head in their house that had lights all over it and everything. So I'm sure they don't look at it on Christmas Eve, though. All right. You can't look at the New Year's moose until New Year's. All right, number 12. I like this one too. We put clues on the gifts, and we go around one by one reading the clue and trying to guess what the present is. You still get the gift whether or not you are right, but it adds a fun element. I like that. I thought, I may go pull some stuff out from under the tree that I have wrapped for my bunch and write some kind of clue on it. All right, 2 left. These are my favorite too. I mean, I'm going to be hard pressed to not start both of these. I just think these are great. I like the clue thing too. All right, number 13. My aunt would write the big news of the year on a Christmas ball with the date. It didn't need to be earth-shattering, just something memorable from that year. I started it in 2009 when I got married, and I love taking each one out and reading it as I put it on the tree. My kids are starting to get into reading them too and asking questions about the time. It's fun to relive some of those milestones. Just make sure they're on Christmas balls that are unbreakable. I love that. I think that is really cool. And here's the last one. And this one, if you have little kids, you just got to do this. I just think this is just the greatest idea. When my kids were little, I grew candy canes. I would buy each of them a large Christmas-themed mug from somewhere like the dollar store, and we would fill the mugs with sugar, and they planted a peppermint disc, a little Starbright peppermint disc. I would search stores for all different sizes of candy canes, and every few days I would replace the disc with a little bigger candy cane. And on Christmas morning, it would be one of those huge, fat peppermint sticks. She said we'd also put prunes outside and say they were reindeer poop. But I love the planting Christmas peppermints. I just think that is just awesome. She also told me she would take a boot and made a stencil with a boot print, lay it on the carpet and sprinkle baking soda on the stencil to look like Santa's boot print, with snow on it. So anyway, there's the show. That's Christmas. Thursday, we won't be here because Thursday is Christmas. And so, we are all, our whole studio's taking the week after. And so we won't be here until the new year. Darlene McIntyre said we get new jammies every Christmas Eve. I remember the year that Polly's mom was with us, and the boys were little. Polly's mom passed away a number of years ago, but the boys were little, And Monica Early, how are you doing? Are we doing the protocol right? I hope we are. So Polly's mom was with us, and the boys opened up pajamas, and they were like 7 and 5. And they opened up pajamas at the same, because Mom said, y'all can open up those at the same. That's the same thing, so y'all can open up at the same time. So they did, and they did like this. They went, oh, great. Oh, they were pajamas, all right? Now, it isn't the pajamas they were reacting to. Polly said, what's wrong? What's wrong? And Austin said, Mom, we're not wearing orange and blue pajamas. Now, if you're not from our state, we are Alabama people. Orange and blue people are Auburn people. And a lot of us get a kick out of not just raising our kids to root for whatever correct team you think is correct. We also get a lot of fun out of overdoing it just a little bit, you know. And like our boys, when they were little, Polly she hated this, but when the boys were little, I taught the boys when somebody said War Eagle to tell them we don't cuss at our house. So Polly, you know, so Austin says they're orange and blue. We're not wearing orange and blue pajamas. And, you know, her mother's sitting right there. And Polly says, yes, you can. Those are cute little pajamas. And Austin said, no, ma'am. We're not wearing orange and blue pajamas. Well, Polly very quickly turns on me. You know, she said, this is your fault. You did this. She said, do you know how many cute little boy clothes are orange and blue? I said, dear, there are no cute little boy clothes that are orange and blue. And she said, y'all are crazy. We never acted like that in Mississippi. I said, I know. It's because you never won anything in your life. This was a funny moment. This is a funny moment. And the boys are still Alabama fans, you know. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, raising them to be Alabama fans, kind of like raising them to love Jesus. And, you know, at some point you accept Jesus as your personal Savior. And at some point you just realize you're an Alabama fan, you know. And did you hear about when the Auburn coach died and went to heaven, and St. Peter welcomed him in the pearly gates, and he said, I'll be glad to show you around. We know you're an SEC coach and everything, and so we got a kind of a neighborhood here for you guys. And so he went, and it was a nice, like a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath home, and had Auburn flag out front. And he said, this is where you'll live. He said, right over here, across the street and kind of catty corner for you is the LSU coach, the OLSU coach, and kind of a house about the same. And he said, over here is the Ole Miss coach, and here's the Tennessee coach where he lives now. And then at the end of the street, he looked down there, and there's this mansion. I mean, it was just this massive mansion, and it was white, and it had red Alabama flags all around the property, and had a big Alabama flag on top of the thing. And the Auburn coach said, so we get this, and Bear Bryant lives there? And St. Peter said, that's not Bear Bryant's house. That's God's place. Yeah. I know some of you are loving that. Danny Kilpatrick, enjoyed it. Merry Christmas to all you guys. Gina Christmas. Hope you and your family are having a great Christmas. Happy birthday, Jesus. Yes, happy birthday, Jesus. And we'll see you guys in the new year. Don't forget, you can get signed books at Buc-ee's, wherever you are, if you need a last-minute gift. And I think that's it. Y'all have a great Christmas. We appreciated your presence in our lives this year, and we'll see you in the new one. Bye bye.